Hello, everybody. And from my part, a warm thanks to all the organizers inviting me here. It's a pleasure to be here, and it's an honor. I think this is a nice storyline we're building up here, coming from the very top of the UN perspective, offering money, and you should consider taking it. But you need a plan. So there's the problem. So that's not why we're here, but we could probably help because, as John was showing us, we are through the story, partly. We're not as successful as we planned. As you see the figures, we plan to have 1 million cars by the next year, almost. And we have quite a way to go. But the problem is the same. If we don't trust the figures people are telling us from the research front, we'll never get going. So this is a societal change problem we have, but it's also a technical problem, and it's a problem of awareness throughout the society. And I can give you some advice, but I'm not coming here from old Europe to tell you how to do it, but I'm just advising you and giving you insights how we are doing it. And so I'm trying to wrap this up, this panel, in order to show you how can we get on, how did you say it, Alex? Doing it doing it practically. So coming down from the political point of view, and no, I have to nod, yeah, going into the city. I was coming, yesterday I was coming here and looking down from the 15th floor to this beautiful city. First time I seen the River Nile, very beautiful, but I almost didn't see it. So that's the problem, it was pollution. I got to know this is a very specific situation we're having here. So this is not normal, it's not normal. Yeah. So I was breathing heavily then, in spite of the pollution. But it's, in spite it's not normal, it could be the situation if you don't change the way you move in the city. We're trying to change this. We're drawing pictures like you see on the left side, but what are the momentums that people need to get going? So it's not only, no, one more please. So I'm used to having a point to push, so I have to somewhat go around here. Excuse me. Yeah, so it's not only environmental protection, it's not only attractiveness of the cities, no, please back, thank you. It's a lot about image and marketing. So you have a beautiful city, you should do something with it, and you can earn economic benefits by changing your policies. This is possible, and I don't trust the sentence, you have to invest more in front in order to save backwards. You can save in front as well, using funding from organizations like the UN and doing planning properly. Planning in the design process at the very upfront, electric as a normal process. It's if you start planning in a usual way, and then you think in the end, oh, where's the electric car? Where's the plug? So then the costs are doubled or third or even 10 times. If you start with a different planning attitude, so there's no problem with the costs. Get rid of the costs in your head and look at the effects. That's the first advice. And you have to think everything together. So it's mobility, electricity, and IT. So nobody has really focused on the IT system, which is very, very important, that you have to install in order to have a different public transport system. So it's not cars, it's mobility. So it's not energy, but it's an energy and mobility system. And now the hardest part is how can we install this system within the city? Within old cities, you're building a new city, a very new city, but you have to still answer the question, what are you doing with the old city? So just transferring the problem out of the city is not the end of the story. It's just the start of the story to show how it could be done in a new, fresh approach, but there's still the old problem waiting for you to solve it. Okay, thanks. Okay, so I'm looking at residential cities, trying to divide the city in manageable parts. So this is my advice to the politics. Don't just think in nations, don't just think in cities, but think in districts and think in a manageable area, which I show to you on the next slide. Could you please? Thanks. So the best manageable area is the district within the city. People know their problems, people know their ways to go, and you have to assure people that staying within the district is much better than to travel throughout the city. And then you have the core, the nucleus of a smart city within the smart district. Next one. So it's not only the smart city. You can't just plant a smart city within the old city. So you have to change from bottom to top, but you still, of course, you need a political framework, you need an umbrella like we heard, you need a platform like you are having here to discuss the problems. But in the end, you have to go down to the specific problems which are in the smaller scale. Okay? So the smart district is the beginning of all solutions as we think of it, because in this you can create a density electric-wise, energy-wise, and mobility-wise, and then you have the backbone of the public system as a whole, which brings another step of to efficiency within the city. Okay, next please. So that's what we've done in Berlin. This is the normal urban planner view of the city, and now my advice is to establish anchor and new decentralized hybrid network structures. And then you had political wise you can connect them, and after the political connection will follow the energy connection and the transport scheme connection. Next slide please. So this will go on, and I painted this, I drew this picture almost 8 years ago, and now it slowly comes alive. People are looking from one smart district to the others. Best practice groups come together and form, and the one district talks to the other district. What can you offer to me? And there's an exchange of municipal products between the districts, bringing a very high efficiency and bringing this sentence, Alex, you said to the opposite. You can save upfront. You can save upfront if you do it properly. Okay, next please. Okay, so this scheme shows what I'm very convinced of. And the problem is too much individual traffic. You have to go to increase use of public traffic, and the mix is the Indie pub, I said. So in German it's the individual public transport, so it's a mixture of all. But it's not only the stuff you put in the city. It's not only the bikes, it's not only the cars, it's not only the public transport, but it's a systematic umbrella above it, which is, next one please, which is a accessible and affordable transport system, which is seen from the user's perspective as a accessible product from the city and from the users themselves. And then you combine it with the decentralized and renewable energy. So you need your public transport company, you need your public energy company, you need some smart IT programmers, and then tackle the users, and you'll discover, not right away, but after 2 to 3 years, you will see within those communities there are there's much more awareness. People get rid of their cars. Young people don't even have a driver's license. This is a very it's a proven trend in statistics of Germany, and people get rid of their second or their third car, and they rely on the new system, but not as a whole, only in those manageable areas we call smart districts. Next, please. Okay, so in the end, you have to find a way to control the new system. And this is what we call a smart district platform, where we combine the transport offer with the logistic offer and the energy offer. And so this is, in the end, one product, one new product on behalf of the city for the users. And it's very important that you include the users by designing this new system. Without the users, it's not just a saying. I'm not a green fundamentalist, not at all, because I want to earn money by implementing such systems. I'm not a green fundamentalist, but planning something you want to get return of without your customer is deadly, I'm deadly honest, is not possible. Not in Germany and not in Egypt. So you need to install a smart district platform, which we are now doing. This is some pictures from the normal planning process on the right. You see it's planning, build, operate. And before we start planning, before we start the design process, we go into phases 0, and we do it all in a greenfield approach. But from thinking from the operating point of view, what do I need to not have a system which is subsidized all the years? How can I increase the money into the system? How good must my offer be in order to bring people to get rid of 1 or 2 cars? And how is it practically done within the districts? And so now we're coming from pictures I've drawn 5 years ago to real design and planning projects. As you see, this is in the north of Berlin. It's a almost 10,000 people new housing project. It was in the shadow of the old airport. We're trying to build a new airport, as you may have heard, and we are going to succeed next year or the other. Yeah. So no, one page back, please. So it's it has been laying for 20 years in the shadow of the running Tegel Airport, which is to be put out of service a half year after the new one in the southeast is going in service. And we are preparing for this right time to enter, to bring a new quartier alive, which has no cars inside. So we have to somehow stop the cars. We have to own public individual system within the quartier. We have no energy from the outside. We have only renewable energy inside. So this is the two two important premises. And then we have to align the, on the left side you see the public transport lines. And we implement a new customer within the public system, which is 10,000 people. And on the right side, you see it's 10,000 people at one, and it's another 10,000 people, and another 10,000 people. And if all those smart districts are designed and planned and communicated in the same way, people who move there will come with a new attitude. And this will take place in the next 2 years. We just got the planning. We just we just finished the phases 0, and now we're talking about the phases of the next 2 years, and we try to render in service with 2021. Yeah? So this is the biggest houses project in Berlin, and the mayor of Berlin asked me, how can we assure that we have renewable energy not only in front as a marketing instrument and not such mobility schemes as we are talking about here, but throughout the whole operation. And I asked him, just let us do an honest approach and a new design and planning, and then we need good offers, stable offers. Because if the new system doesn't work, people try it once, try it twice. If it doesn't work, they are out of the system. So that's, somebody said you need 2 years and then it's okay. No, I think it's a bit more for the first project. I think it's 5 to 10 years, and then we have to double the system. We have old offers and new offers, and then we have to have a transformation phases. Next page, please. So it's design and offer practical solutions. So that's what you see. We on the left side, it's the map of the bike offer. So there's public bikes and there is a lot of space for private bikes. You can rent bikes, you can have your own bikes, but what you don't have a storage room, you don't have a private place for your car, you don't have a private place for your bike. Yeah? So it's very strict. It's very strict, and the winning point will be how can we operate the new system so that it has an equal comfort level than the old system. Yeah? And so in the middle, there's an autonomous electric vehicle running around the circle, gathering people, gathering micro-logistic. We have, of course, the bikes. We have, of course, electric motor vehicles. So it's not only cars, it's any kind of vehicle which could be driven electrical. And so designing and offer practical solutions, and people are eager to give money to be different. So people want to join us, but first we have to create a stable offer, and then we have to build it, and then we have to run it. Okay, next please. So this is a nice car, very nice. It's a design study from VW, but this is, next please, not the solution alone. So the stuff behind it, no, one back please. Yeah. Behind it you see, this is a picture 5 years ago on our site in Berlin, and it has changed. So this was just a what do you say, a garden of new stuff brought from energy research and mobility research, and now we've transformed this into a working electric mobility station. Next one. So, and this is a step forward. Next one, please. Yeah, it's a big step towards an integrated solution. So you have the solar power, you have different kind of cars, you have the autonomic vehicle, you have bikes, you have charging poles, even inductive loading is the first one, because we have to get rid of the sockets, and only then you can take the step from car sharing scheme to mobility on demand. And if you can assure mobility on demand, you can take the next step to mobility as a service. So we're not talking about bringing cars to people and giving them, we are offering mobility on site in a new to be discussed level with the outside backbone public transport. Okay, next please. Yeah, so this is everything on one page. We've done this right in front of the door of Volkswagen in Wolfsburg. The mayor asked us to implement a system showing the way he wants Volkswagen to go. This was 1 year before diesel crisis. And Volkswagen saw this, didn't do anything, then diesel crisis, and now they are slowly going the same way. You don't see it on the surface. You can't buy it yet, but I know the guys. So demonstration projects is very, very good, but I advise you to do it just because you can participate from our experience. Be much more than a demonstrator. Be an operator. Be an operator of new chances. Be an operator of a new way of planning, of new way of designing, and try to earn money by implement new systems. And ask Alex to help you with some extra money from the outside. Okay, so this is, I think it's my last slide. Yes, so it's not only one project. If you have done one project successfully, there's a massive demand for doing it in the same way. It's very hard to fulfill the needs of the customers, but we're willing to tackle this, not only to change the world and build better cities, but to earn smarter money. Okay, thanks a lot for your attention. Last slide, please. Okay. We've offered some consultancy to a project in Masa Alam with the Calm Sala guys. I'm not aware of how the project is doing because to some kind of reasons of regulatory framework, they didn't come again to us. But it was a very nice idea. Please. Okay. So, more. Next, please. And the last one, please. Okay, so this is us. I have two shareholders doing research and then suddenly discovered research alone is not suitable for our market needs. And so we are a spin-off from the research project of the federal government of Germany, and we have two stakeholders at Schneider Electric, energy company, and Deutsche Bahn, where I come from. And there's the energy branch of Deutsche Bahn. So if you need any help, please let me know. I'll be glad to advise you. Thanks a lot.